Hello, everybody. Welcome to something to talk about. It is 2024. This is my first vid for 2024. I'm not filming it in 2024. You are in the future. I'm filming it way back in May 2023. I'm kidding. Let's get into the vid. Hi, everybody. Welcome to something to talk about. It's a new year, and I want to start the year off covering a little family I've never covered. All right, I covered one. But I don't cover much. And that is the Targaryens. Targaryen New Year. Here we go. And yeah, I let's put this up first, but I want you to read this if you've never read it before and all that stuff. But yeah, all right. Targaryen New Year. We are covering some Targaryens. So I think I covered Aegon the Dragon Knight or Aemon, not Aegon, Aemon the Dragon Knight way back in the day, like last year. Now 2 years ago. Completely different back then. I didn't really have my format all the way down and all that stuff, and you know time for some Targaryens. So we're covering two that both of them were from polls I did a while ago, like September. I did these polls, and yeah. So first one was Daena Targaryen, Deana the Defiant, and briefly a queen. So yeah, I think I say later when I actually did the polls, but yeah. So I want to cover one female, one male, beginning of the week. Now, Daena Targaryen, first one. Somebody else later. I mean, you guys probably already know. It's Baelor Breakspear. But anyways, let's just get into it. Welcome to 2024. Welcome to Targaryen Week. We're kicking off with the Targaryens. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So Princess Daena Targaryen, so Princess Daena Targaryen, also known as Deana the Defiant, was the eldest daughter of King Aegon III Targaryen and Queen Daenerys, all the D names, man, Valerian. Compared to Rhaena and Elena, she was the most famous of her three sisters. Though Daena was wild almost from birth, she had much love for both her beauty, or she was much loved for both her beauty and courage. A Targaryen to the bone, she was strong, beautiful, and willful. And like the rest of her siblings, had the Valerian look. She was gorgeous. She had long silver gold hair, that was thick and curly, and untamed mane that framed her heart-shaped face. George loves heart-shaped faces, by the way. And her sparkling purple eyes. To top it off, she had a fearless, "I'll dare anything" smile. Yeah, she was awesome. She was hot and cool. Hot and cool. Whoa. I'm neither. Pretty lame and chubby. Not that chubby people can't be hot. I'm just not. Anyways, Daena was agile, athletic, and an experienced horsewoman. Thank you, horse person. She was also a hunter and a fine archer. She practiced at riding and rings, although she was never allowed to ride a tourney despite her best efforts. Yeah, she wanted to, but they wouldn't let her. Dang, patriarchy, I tell you. All right, so yeah, I'm excited. You guys excited for Daena the Defiant? Let's just keep going on. So she was from right after Fire and Blood Volume 1, right? So she's Aegon the Third's daughter. So it's like her family is going to be the first one that's explored in Fire and Blood Volume 2. So yeah, her immediate family. House Targaryen. Have you guys ever heard of House Targaryen? House Targaryen of King's Landing is a noble family of Valyrian descent who once ruled the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros. Their Targaryen sigil is a red three-headed dragon, breathing red flames on black. The house words were fire and blood. All this is news to you guys. The only family of dragon lords who survived the doom of Valyria. The Targaryens left the Valyrian freehold 12 years before the Doom. They resided for more than a century at Dragonstone until Aegon the Conqueror and his sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenyra, began the first war of conquest in 2 BC, before conquest. 2 years before the conquest. It was the War of Conquest. During Aegon's conquest, the family built the Aegon Fort and in the new capital city of King's Landing. The Aegon Fort was later torn down and replaced by the Red Keep, which remained their seat for the duration of their dynasty and which housed the Iron Throne. House Targaryen ruled as the kings of the Andals, Rhoynar, and the First Man in the Lords of the Seven Kingdoms and the Great House of the Crownlands for nearly 300 years. And now here we're back. Whew, I gotta say that again. That's a big one, man. Try shoving all Targaryen knowledge into one card. It's not easy, and that wasn't even close. All right, so the golden 3-headed dragon pendant. I got a picture of Aegon III up here too, so you can compare. So we have to start off with how she dressed. So Daena the Defiant, often dressed dramatically. As a child, she always wore black in emulation of her father, who also wore black, and because it's the coolest way to dress. She also wore the golden 3-headed dragon pendant she inherited from her father at court. At court, she wore it on a golden chain. When in disguise as a peasant, she hung it on a leather thong and hid it beneath her clothes. Supposedly, she even wore it when bathing and making love. That's it. I like that she wears black, but it's like in the cool punk way, right? She's like the cool goth kid, but she's wearing it because of her dad, who always wore black. But he was more the emo way. But wearing pure black there's multiple different ways to do it. Okay, guys. I know there was only like 8 people in my high school who wore black, and I was a punk and I wore black, and they were like the emo scene kids who wore black, and we had to hang out because it was the only guys who wore black. But I'm like, you want to listen to some like Dead Kennedys? And they're like, no. You want to listen to My Chemical Romance? I'm like, no. All right, fine. We were stuck. We had to. Why am I saying all that? Because she wore black. That's off the rails. Welcome to the new year. All right. Unhappy marriage. Aw. Born in 147 AC, Daena was the 3rd child and eldest daughter of King Aegon III Targaryen and Queen Daenerys Valerian. She had 2 older brothers, Darren and Baelor, and the 2 younger sisters, Rhaena and Alayna. Daena, Rhaena, Alayna. All right, man. Like, as if Targaryen names weren't hard enough, 3 sisters had to rhyme. Daena, Alayna, Rhaena. All right. In 160 AC, at age of 15, we can do math, Mark. Sorry, other Mark. Daena was married to her brother Baelor. Their marriage was an unhappy one, with her pious brother obsessed with the faith of the 7, like Bible thumping to the max, like your weird aunt. Do you have a weird aunt? I do. Being such a faithful dude, Baelor refused to consummate their marriage, causing Daena to dress all in white instead of the awesome goth look, and vowed not to wear anything else until she had been properly bedded. I'm not getting out of this wedding dress until you bang me, bro. Man, we've all had that day. All right. In the hope of shaming her husband, her plan did not work, as Baelor preferred her in white, feeling she looked more innocent that way. What a great marriage. I mean, my marriage to my sister went away. I'm kidding. I shouldn't joke about that. I'm not married to my sister. My sister is an awesome person, but not married to my sister. Just joking. All right. The Maiden Vault. After her father, the emo king Aegon III, died in 157, her eldest and most badass brother became king and tried to conquer Dorne. Daena used a Dornish short recurve bow brought back by Daeron, her brother, from his conquest of Dorne. When awesome King Daeron died in Dorne in 161 AC, church boy Baelor ascended the Iron Throne. Early in his reign, he convinced the High Septim to dissolve his marriage to Daena, since it had never been consummated. This meant Daena was no longer queen, so she was queen for a bit. It was short-lived. The choir boy had Daena and her two sisters confined to their own apartments in the Red Keep, which became known as the Maiden Vault. So the sight of them would not tempt Baelor or others in his court to mortal lusts. Oh, that's dumb. That's some dumb stuff. I'm not a fan of Baelor. And I know a lot of people were like, hey man, he didn't start any wars. He was a little misguided. Sure, as a king, I think he was okay. He was fine. All right. The Maiden Vault thing's a little dumb. Like, I don't want to bang my sisters. Cool, you shouldn't. Yeah. So we're going to lock them up in a vault. All right. Every other non-Targaryen's like, I don't have to do that. Like every other non-Targaryen except for like Jaime Lannister's. Like, I'm just not going to bang my sister. He's like, lock him up. Throw away the key. Good thing we're talking about the Defiant. She's going to do some defiance. The Defiant. See? It was the next slide. I set myself up. During the decade she was confined to the Maiden Vault, Daena quickly earned her nickname as the Defiant, for she was the most restless of her three sisters. She escaped her confinements thrice. That's 3 times. Disguised as either a servant or one of the small folk. Towards the end of Baelor's reign, Daena managed to get preggo. Whoa! In late 170, she gave birth to a bastard son that she named Daemon. Yeah, that one. After her grandfather, Prince Daemon, the rogue prince, she refused to name who the father was, who was suspected and eventually revealed to be her own cousin, Prince Aegon. Though that wasn't revealed for like 12 more years in 182 AC. Yeah, that Aegon. Yeah, that Daemon. That's right. Daemon Blackfyre was consummated when she was being defiant. Because I don't want to keep making incest jokes, but when I break out of prison, I go right away to bang my hot cousin. I don't know, was Aegon IV hot back then? Maybe. He wasn't always hideous, right? Just when he was king? Okay. Oh my god. I thought I could do a Targaryen vids, but it goes right to incest. It's all my jokes are. Okay. They're all jokes. Jeez. Baelor's final fast. The birth of Daena's son led to a long fast by King Baelor. He fasted for 40 days, taking in only water and a little bit of bread. The 41st day of his fast, he was found collapsed before the altar of the mother, and neither Grand Maester Mumpkin or the boy High Septim, could save him. He did. So, when your sister has a kid, can't you just be like, "Hey, Brody, I got a nephew to hang out with," and he's like, "I'm not eating," and then he dies. And then, of course, the Grand Maester couldn't do anything, and then the Septim's just like a child that he raised up because he saw the kid talking to pigeons or something. Freaking Baelor. I don't know why people love him so much. I'm not a fan. I'm like dogging on him this whole time. All right. History says Baelor starved himself to death by prolonged fasting to cleanse himself of lust, but soon believed he was poisoned by the hand of the king Viserys. I don't buy that one. I like Viserys too much. Some claim he did so to gain the throne, but others claim Viserys had done so for the good of the realm, as Baelor had come to believe that the Seven wanted him to convert all non-believers in the entire realm. Had Baelor been able to put these beliefs into action, a war of the old gods followed in the north, and the drowned gods worshipped in Iron Islands would have resulted. Okay, maybe I do buy it, because that's a good reason. If you're going to kill a king, don't kill anybody. No murder. No murder or incest. Come on, guys. But but if you're going to kill a king, to prevent a gigantic holy war is a pretty good reason why. I'm just saying, not a fan of regicide. I'm not a fan of any asides. But if you're going to do one, to prevent a holy war is like number one, number two, maybe up there. All right. So if his uncle Viserys II, who's one of my favorite kings, did actually poison him, it's probably for the good. Except it now puts Aegon the Unworthy into the line. Oops. But everyone, you would think that Viserys would have lasted more than a year. But anyways, getting out of myself. Baelor dead. Now what? So passed over. After Baelor's death in 171 AC, there were some amongst the small folk and the lords who have felt that the Iron Throne should now pass on to Daena, as she was Aegon III's eldest surviving child. However, Daena had been isolated for a decade in the Maiden Vault, which she had left, and which had left her and her sisters without powerful allies. In addition, the memories of the Dance of the Dragon and Daena Targaryen left many leery of the idea of a ruling queen. That's kind of unfair, but okay. As well, Daena was seen by many as being wild and unmanageable and malicious due to giving birth to a bastard son a year before, while still refusing to name the father. The presidents, I added those quotations on purpose, of the Great Council of 101 AC and the Dance of Dragons were cited as, and the claims of Daena and her sisters were set aside. So the crown now passed to her uncle, Viserys II Targaryen, and that's all we know, sadly. Okay, what did I say? So I said a lot there. If I ever do shirts, I got to say, what did I say? Because I always say that. I was explain my own paragraphs. Why didn't I just make them coherent the first time? No. Oh, man, I'm on fire. So, in order to become queen, you need some political power, right? So, as soon as Baelor died, they let them out of the Maiden Vault, and they're like, we're going to name Viserys. And even if she was like, what about my claim? They're going to go, what are you going to do about it? What do you got? You got nothing. You've been locked in that vault for 10 years. It's kind of lame. And I also hate the precedent set by the Council 101. That's something that a lot of maesters and a lot of people who are like kind of pro-green like to bring up. But it wasn't set. It was a vote, right? That's all it was. It was a vote. It wasn't that everyone goes, no matter what, women cannot. The vote wasn't male or female heir. Now we vote. No. It was a vote between two people who had very close claims. The female had a little bit better of a claim, and it went to the male. That's it. Imagine if we said we're not going to vote in 4 years because of the precedent set from the last one, the Democrats won. So now that means only Democrats. Hey, that's the precedent set in the Great Council of 2020, right? No. No, the one person won, the other person lost. That's all it is. So I think people just do that, and the maesters do that to make sure not only women, but certain people don't get the throne. I don't need to get into all of it right now. I just wanted to toss it out because Deana the Defiant was done dirty. And that's all we know. After she was passed over, she's out of the lore. That's it. We don't know what happened for the next a long of time. We're not sure when she died. We don't know if she was around for the Blackfyre rebellions, what she thought of Aegon IV's death, what she did during all that time. All that crazy stuff's going on. We don't know. That's insane to me because we don't have Fire and Blood Volume 2 yet. So anyways, and then, exactly, Daena was a winner of a Targaryen post I did back in early September, and she won over, I spelled one that way, she won over her sister Elena and Alyssa Targaryen, not her sister, but she won over Alyssa Targaryen. Yeah, I thought Alyssa would have been really fun, but no, it went to Daena the Defiant, and that's totally cool. It was a good post. That goes on vacation with my family. That was a long time ago. Her story just ends. It makes me thirst for Fire and Blood Volume 2. I always am thinking that. Whenever that'll happen, but the era isn't covered, and we only got the first half of her story. The only thing I could find about her online is speculation by a deleted Reddit user on who she might have married later on in life. So, hear me out. A Targaryen king in the following generation named Aerys the First, who did become King Aerys the First, married a Penrose, Eleanor Penrose, and she was Aerys' cousin, but it's unknown how they were cousins. Yes, Daela's sister Elena married a Penrose, but we know her 4 kids with him. None were Eleanor. So maybe Deana the Defiant is her mother, or her mom with a Penrose. But that seems kind of crazy. 2 Penroses married to the Targaryen family in 1 generation. Either way, I'm dying to know the rest of her story, and I'm happy y'all voted for her. I am happy. It's a great character to cover. It's a great way to kick off the year, right? But so if you're confused with what I just said, so in the next generation after this, Aerys the First, right, becomes king. And we don't know anything like, no, so Aerys the First married Penrose, and she's just stated in the lore as being his cousin. How? So there's not a lot of Targaryens for us to go over here. In this generation, there wasn't a lot. So it could have been Elena Targaryen, who did marry a Penrose, but we know the name of her 4 kids with him, and none of them were her. So if she was actually a Penrose, or if she was actually Targaryen, like if she was her cousin, if she was, or his cousin, if Eleanor Penrose's mom was a Targaryen, that means that 2 Targaryens in the same generation marry 2 Penroses. That's crazy to me. And then the next generation, another one did. Because then Aerys does. Like, what were the Penroses doing back then, man? They must have had a powerful freaking house. Jeez. Okay, there you guys go. I've been talking for too long. There you go. Welcome to New Year, and welcome to Targaryen Week. I'm just covering one more. Baelor Breakspear, another winner of a poll. So, yeah. What do you think? What do you think of her? What do you think of this time period? Can you also not wait until Volume 2 of Fire and Blood so we can actually learn more about this time period, because it's a really interesting one? Yeah, that's all I got. Click like, subscribe. Thank you for showing up. And if you like this video, you can click right here and get tacoized. No one's going to get that reference.